Rolling Tin Fist.
Hello, man. I hope you're doing well. Just got back earlier this week from my second trip to South America. This time it was more of a family and friends trip rather than more of a party trip when I went in last December, to a different country. I learned a lot though because I went for a longer period. I went for 2 weeks instead of just a long weekend, and I went for a wedding as well as to see a relative down there. One of the first things I was reminded of going back there was that, of course, the women there are very different. They are by no means no walls, but they still adhere to a bit of traditionalism and, in some case, the patriarchy, somewhere between that spectrum, where the man is given his due respect, provided that he is just that, the provider, head of household, the breadwinner. He does his role, which is usually getting the income, and she does hers, which is typically working part-time, but also managing the kids and the household. Managing the household being, cooking and cleaning. And they each have their respective social circles as well as their respective social contracts. So the upside of that, and other video producers have talked about this, particularly Turd Flinging Monkey recently did a more recent video on this, talking about I can't forget the term he used, but the idea of like a new patriarchy, or patriarchy light, which you get the best aspects of basically the man running things, but not in a abusive or overly dogmatic way. But basically, it's understood that he's the general, and the woman, at best, maybe my words, not his, maybe like the first officer, but everybody knows their roles. Everybody understands the chain of command, so the machine that is the family works a lot more smoother and efficiently. But anyway, one of the things that does make it easier is interaction with women in general. The women down there are much more sexually liberated in that they are comfortable with their sexuality and expressing it. So there is not that double standard of, I want to wear next to nothing, but I somehow offended when you look at me because I'm wearing next to nothing. That doesn't exist there. The women typically dress very tastefully, fashionably, but also sensually. So it's perfectly normal. They know why they're doing it. They understand the attention they're getting. And it's understood that obviously you don't do anything stupid like grab somebody's tits in public. But it's just understood. Typically, when you greet somebody, particularly a woman, it's not usual for her to, kiss you on both sides of the cheek. Everybody does it. It's no big deal. Just very, very expressive. So that makes it a lot more easier with social interactions. And most of the societies like that, in that it's just a comfort being social. And it's just the social grease, if you will. It helps things move faster, business, social discussions, just about everything, any interaction. It just makes it easier, more pleasant, and that's pretty much the culture down there. Now, hypergamy is alive and well in the sense that because you have this, uh, traditional, more traditional relationship, the man is expected to be the breadwinner. the man is expected to go out, slay the bear, bring the bear home so everybody can eat. Now, the flip side of that is because the man is expected to do all of that, and the woman, expected to do her role, you have women who now have enjoyed all of that, and all of a sudden the man isn't around as much because he's working all the time. And then you have the dissonance of you wanted the man to be the breadwinner, which he signed up for and did, but because he had to make those sacrifices in order to achieve that higher income, he's no longer around to maybe spend as much time with you, the woman, as you would like, or with the children as much as they would like or you would like. So, and that it is what it is. You can't have it all. And, these women grudgingly accept, another thing that I did notice is that, like in a lot of Latin and South American countries I've been through, women tend to get married relatively young and have kids relatively younger. This particular country is very, very Catholic, so uh, it's really something that is a stigma if you're basically have a child out of wedlock and you're relatively young. And by that I mean, I would say 25 or younger. If you're single mom and older, it's understood. You either got married, you got divorced, you're estranged, whatever the arrangement is, it's understood. But to be very young and have a child is not really common, particularly in more, I would say, middle class of middle class families. Whereas you might see it in less metropolitan areas and particularly in, I would say, lower middle um, to lower class families. But in any case, something else I was reminded of my trip down there as well. I've been to this particular country several times, but it's usually about 4 or so years in between each trip, and I have been able to see the change transpire. Another great thing was that your dollar goes further, right? Your dollar goes further. So not only are you benefiting, obviously, from having dollars in the first place, but it has a greater purchasing power. So that helps you in terms of, visiting there, enjoying there, eating there, entertainment, but also if you choose to invest there, for example, real estate, you have more options there. Money goes further, and maybe something to think about for those who may be middle-aged or close to retirement and are thinking about retirement outside